Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jerso and today I am here to share my overly ambitious October TBR. It was really hard to narrow this list down. I've wanted to read all the thrillers, all the fantasy, and 31 days is just not enough time. But regardless of say, I think I put together a pretty good list that I'm happy with and I think I'll stick to. So I have a little bit of everything on here, not everything, but mostly thrillers, horrors, and fantasy. So without further ado, let's get into the books that I hope to read in October. The first book that I hope to read is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. In this book, we are following our main characters, Victor and Eli, and these two met in college and were college roommates, and they decided to start a science experiment where they try to create extraordinary humans. We know that something goes wrong, and in the beginning of the book we are following Victor years later, I think, as he is escaping from prison and trying to track Eli down. I've heard this book is very fast-paced, very engrossing, so I'm hoping that it captures my attention like everybody else, and I'm very excited to read this one. The next book that I hope to get to this month is the third book in the Mistborn series, and that is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I am honestly just proud that I'm continuing a series and I've made it this far. So I really hope that I can just close out the trilogy this month. Obviously I can't tell you guys what book 3 is about, but in book 1, The Final Empire, we are following our two main characters, Vin and Kelsier, and in this world the magic kind of revolves around allomancy, so individuals who get their powers from digesting metals. Not everyone can do this, but people who can digest one metal are called mistings, and individuals who can digest 2 or more are called Mistborns, and Mistborns are super rare. So Vin and Kelsier are 2 Mistborns who, along with a group of criminals, I should say, are trying to overthrow the Final Empire and the Lord Ruler, and we just go on from there. I absolutely loved book 1, captured my attention. I love the characters, I love the political intrigue. Book 2 was a little slow for me, but I've heard that this is a really good conclusion to a series, so I'm very excited to read this one. The next book that I'm hoping to read this month is The Bruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. Now, this one I'm a little unsure about, but I still think that it's going to be super good. This is an epic fantasy, and we are following our main character Karen, and he is basically from the slums. I think he had like a war criminal, not a war criminal, but like a criminal thief and a criminal as a mom or as a dad or something, and one day he is wrongfully claimed to be the son of like an evil prince, and he kind of finds himself at their mercy. And this is, I've heard this described as like a revenge story that involves dragons and gods and prophecies and all that stuff, and this sounds so good. So yeah, I'm really hoping that I can squeeze this one in and get to it this month. I think I'm just gonna keep this fantasy ball rolling and talk about the next 2 books that I hope to read, and they are currently on their way to me as we speak. And the first one is Redemptor by Jordan Fleco. I read Ray Bear in September and absolutely loved it, so I needed to get book 2 right away. In Ray Bear, we are following our main character Terasai from when she is a little girl to when she gets older. She basically gets sent on a mission by her mother, who we know as the Lady, to infiltrate the prince's council and essentially kill the prince. But this becomes a problem when Terasai does infiltrate the prince's council, but things get a little complicated when she finds her friendship with the prince and their council. So it's really a great story about found family, friendships, and just things like that. And I really enjoyed book 1, so I'm super excited to get into book 2. The last fantasy book that I'm really hoping to get to this month is Gathering of Shadows by Morgan Rhodes. This is book 3 in the Fallen Kingdom series. Again, I read book 1 in August, book 2 in September, so we're just keeping this series ball rolling because I'm doing great. Book 1 is called The Fallen Kingdoms. In this book, we are following 3 characters from 3 separate kingdoms, Princess Cleo, Magnus, and I think Jonas. And we are following these 3 characters as one small event kind of rolls into something so much bigger, and it turns into war between all 3 of these kingdoms, and all 3 of our main characters are somehow key players in this war, and things just get so crazy. It's so good. I am quickly blowing through this series. I'm loving it so much, and I can't wait to continue. So now that we've gotten all the fantasy out of the way, there are a couple thrillers and horror books that I'm really hoping to get to this month, and the first one being Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubuka? Yes. So this is obviously a thriller, and in this thriller we are following a community as 3 women kind of go missing. The first one to go missing is Shelby, and then we have a mother-daughter duo that also goes missing, Meredith and Delilah. And so all these 3 women are disappearing from the same town, but several years later Delilah comes back, but she shows up alone, and the community is trying to figure out like what's really happening, where did they go, what happened to these 2 women that are still missing. And this just sounds so creepy and eerie and completely what I want right now, so I am excited to see. It's glowing. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. The next book that I hope to read this month is The Push by Ashley Adrian. Maybe if I hold it this way, you guys will be able to see better. This is a psychological thriller, and we are following a new mother, Blythe Connor, and she just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, but she starts to sense that something might be wrong with her, and this is all even more exemplified when she has her second kid. She realizes she doesn't have the same like unsettling feeling with her son that she does with her daughter, and she's telling people like, I feel like something isn't right here, but nobody is believing her. So I think this is the mother crazy or is the baby crazy type of book, and I am super excited to read this one. Next is another thriller that I'm very excited about, and is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. This one I've seen lots of mixed reviews about, but I'm still going in open-minded and hoping that I enjoy it. We are following an editorial assistant, Nella Rogers, who is the only black girl at a publishing company. That is until a new black girl starts working there and they become friends, but then a chain of events starts happening that puts Nella in like a public enemy type of light, and Nella is thinking that the new girl is responsible for this, but she's not really sure. So we're trying to figure out who's behind these compromising emails and events, and will Nella be able to rectify her position at this publishing company or not? So like I said, lots of mixed reviews, but it's not too long, honestly, so I might just binge this in one day. And yeah, so the last book that I have to talk about is one that has been on my shelves for a while, but I'm hoping that this month is a month that I can really get to it, and that is The Night Swim by Megan Golden. I have heard nothing but great things about this book, and I'm so excited to finally read it. In it, we are following Rachel Crowell, who is a host of a popular true crime podcast. Now, with the pressure on of having such a great podcast, she is wanting to make season 3 the best podcast season, and she goes to a small town to kind of cover a high-profile rape case. And once she gets to this town, I think she starts to see like mysterious notes left on her car, and someone's like begging for her, to help them figure out something about a crime that happened a long time ago. And so Rachel is trying to figure out who's following her, and most importantly how the old case and the rape case are somehow connected. I've heard lots of good things about this. I've actually heard that this is a great audiobook, so I might pick this one up on audio and listen to it this month. So there you have it. Those are all the books that I'm crossing my fingers I'll be able to read this month. I'm really excited about all of them. Please let me know in the comments below what you guys are hoping to get to this October. What are you most excited to read? So thank you guys all for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you aren't, and I'll see you guys with another video soon. Bye.